we are nearing the end, but it's not the end yet. I want to thank very much everybody for their transparent and beautiful participation in this conference, in particular the speakers, and I want to thank our studio, everybody, Natalie, very much. And we have asked someone very knowledgeable to give a closing remarks. This is Mimi Thompson, Rosenquist. She has been dealing with creating a foundation way before her husband passed away 1 year ago. And Mimi has basically opened her eyes into the art world at the Whitney Museum as a registrar, and then she worked for Leo Castelli, and that's where she met everybody, including her husband, I think. And she's a very dear friend, and I'm very happy that she's giving the closing remarks to this. Thank you.
Everybody, it's been an amazing 2 days. I've certainly learned so much, and there's so much to think about. We can't thank Christian and Natalie enough for organizing this really amazing group of people. It's been really an extraordinary 2-day exploration into the relationship between artists, estates, conservation, and all areas of the art world that influence and affect an artist's legacy. As Jeanette Redensek mentioned yesterday, an artist studio begins in kind of an ad hoc way and moves, when the artist goes, it moves from being a studio to sometimes a foundation or an estate, and then gradually often becomes an actual institution, which is another thing altogether. But I think what this symposium really has shown is that we may have to devise new models to really keep foundations and estates being as creative as the artists that they house. Just as the focus on copyright lessons as fair use becomes the norm, a paradigm shift has begun concerning what kind of structure is needed for an artist estate to go forward. We have an opening of categories and structures spurred on by the artists themselves and their work, which often defies categorization. Their creativity really seems to inspire all of us, and it all starts with the artist and continues with the artist. I think some of the structures that we have in place now are going to change and become more exciting, and we'll have more different options for estates and foundations and things that perhaps we haven't seen yet. So I'm looking forward to that expansion, and I think this symposium really showed how incredibly creative and thoughtful so many people are when they're dealing with artists' legacies. It's really wonderful to see all the passion and all the commitment that people put in to taking care of artists' ideas and making sure that future generations are able to really experience Cara Lee and David Reed and all the other artists that we're also interested in. So thank you, and thank you, Christian, and thank you, Contemporary Conservation. It's a really incredible gift you've given to all of us to be able to spend 2 days exploring all these interesting topics. So many thanks.
I think that was such an insightful, amazing few days. I know my mind is blown. These are for Christian and Natalie. I just want to congratulate you both.
Thank you.
There's drinks in the lobby.
But wait. With Alana too. And okay, I'm gonna come up here Just very quickly, I know we're all very tired, but it's really important just to say how honored, obviously, I was to be involved with this and to gather all of us together. And obviously, the energy was very high, and we had a lot to say and think about. I want to say mostly thanks to Christian for truly being the driving force behind all of this, his passion and his integrity and his curiosity, I think, is really the energy that came together here with all of you. And just quickly, Ilana at the studio, our studio manager, Ilana took care of all this financial stuff. She has incredible savvy, just in general, intelligence with spreadsheets, for example. Thank you. And Delia as well. She is our in-house, basically, designer now. She's our in-designer. And she was also our presentation maestro. So thanks so much to Delia and everyone at the studio for your amazing support and your discussions. Sorry that was long. Christian.
No, and I just want to quote David Reed, the artwork is always right, and the artwork knows always more.